In a world paralyzed by climate anxiety and political inertia, one union of nations is quietly attempting something radical. While others talk, delay, or deny, the European Union is pushing forward with one of the most ambitious climate action agendas on Earth. This is the story of how the EU is quietly, perhaps even reluctantly, saving the planet. And why it's dividing opinion across the globe. This isn't a feel-good puff piece. This is about policy, power, industry, innovation, and the uncomfortable decisions needed to save our climate. Stay with us. Because you may be surprised at who's really leading the fight for Earth. In December 2019, just before the pandemic gripped the world, the EU launched its most ambitious initiative ever, the European Green Deal. A roadmap to make the continent climate neutral by 2050. The goals: cut greenhouse gas emissions by 55% by 2030. Invest hundreds of billions in clean energy. Reshape agriculture. Retrofit millions of buildings. And do it all while keeping the economy growing. Critics laughed. Activists were skeptical. But over the past 5 years, the EU has made steady, sometimes quiet, progress. Regulations have been passed. Funds have been allocated. And most importantly, emissions are falling. Unlike many international agreements, the EU doesn't rely on vague promises. It uses law. The emissions trading scheme, first launched in 2005, has expanded under the Green Deal. Now it covers more sectors: shipping, road transport, even buildings. Companies must pay to pollute. The price of carbon: over €80 per ton in 2025, and rising. That pressure is working. EU emissions dropped 8.3% in 2023 alone, and are now nearly 40% below 1990 levels. These are not press releases. These are audited results. But here's the problem. What if dirty industries just move overseas? The EU's answer is the CBAM, the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. A world-first carbon tariff. If a non-EU country tries to sell steel, cement, aluminium, or fertilizer into the EU without meeting EU carbon standards, they'll pay a tax. To some, it's climate justice. To others, it's protectionism wrapped in green. CBAM came into force in 2023 with transitional reporting. By 2026, it will be fully enforced. The World Trade Organization is watching closely. So is China, and the US. The Green Deal isn't just about taxes. It's also about innovation. Europe is now home to over 2,000 cleantech startups. Billions in venture capital funding are pouring in. The EU's Horizon Europe program alone has allocated over €1 billion for climate-related innovation. Take Sweden. Its hybrid project is producing steel with green hydrogen. Spain, Denmark, and Germany are leading wind and solar R&D. The EU's Clean Industrial Deal adds another €100 billion to support clean factories, from battery plants to recycled concrete. In short, the EU isn't just regulating carbon. It's inventing its way out of it. Before we dive into the critics, a divided planet and climate hope, drop a comment to help the debate. Smash that like button if you want more deep dives, and subscribe to see more content. Let's build this conversation. But this green revolution isn't without friction. In 2024 and 2025, protests broke out across France, the Netherlands, and Poland. Farmers blockaded roads. Truckers revolted over new fuel prices. Critics warned of deindustrialization. Energy prices in Europe remain far higher than in the US. Some businesses are relocating. Some governments, like Poland's, are asking Brussels to slow down. Even the Green Claims Directive was paused amid fears of green fatigue. The fear? That the EU may lose its political will before it reaches its environmental goals. Outside Europe, opinions are mixed. Developing nations argue that the EU's carbon border tax punishes the global south. Some call it climate colonialism. Others see the EU as finally matching rhetoric with action, unlike the US, China, or Russia. At COP summits, EU delegates are often the ones proposing the most ambitious frameworks. But ambition doesn't always equal power. With the rise of nationalist parties across Europe, climate leadership could be on the line in the 2026 European elections. In a time of rising seas and falling trust, the European Union is proving one thing: large-scale policy can change our trajectory. It won't be perfect. It won't be popular. But it's real. Inaction has a price. So does leadership. The EU is betting the planet will thank them later. What do you think? Is the EU the planet's best hope, or an overreaching bureaucracy pushing a costly green agenda? We want to hear from you. Leave your comment. Like the video if you learned something. Share it if you care. And subscribe for more global deep dives that cut through the noise. The climate isn't just a crisis. It's a test of courage. And Europe may just be one of the few trying to pass it.